prosperity of our country.
Okay, thank you, Ajahn. Yes, everything is transparent, right? They serve the nation. Whatever is done for people. Okay, any other ideas? Is there something that wasn't mentioned? Okay. I like the idea.
Then as being teachers, and dedicated to the educational part of our lives, and just accessibility of higher education, so then better standards, maybe more scholarships, and so on and so far, in order everyone would have no fears that their children in 10 years wouldn't be able to get education.
Okay. So right now I want to say something, a kind of key point. Some of the people you imagined in your Prosperous Kazakhstan movie are probably your students right now. So in 10 years, they'll probably be 20-something, 25, 26, probably, right? And when your future students are born, the question is, when your future students are born, what and who shapes their values and principles? What do you think? When they're just here in Kazakhstan, born, who shapes the principles and values? Hi, Dinara.
Hello, Bostan. I think that their parents, first of all, yes, and the closest relatives, have a great impact on who they become later, and then their peers, of course. But first, it's their parents. The first people who they see, they have contact with. Yes.
Right, this is obvious. Thank you very much, Nara. Glad to see you. So basically, that's true. Parents are the first one who shape, right? Relatives, people who live in. Who else is responsible when they become older? Toddlers or teenagers? Who's responsible for that values, shaping it?
We are.
That's right, teachers, right?
Yeah.
Teachers and community.
Community, yeah, for sure.
Right, okay. So sometimes when we pass by pretending not to see something, this is also choice, right? That's when actually we neglect and pretend that we don't see the problem, but the problem still exists, right? So why am I saying this right now? So now let's think about the teachers we should have who will or can contribute to this future Kazakhstani citizens in terms of values and principles. Think about those teachers. So what do they do? What values do they have? What qualities do these teachers possess? What do they do in their free time? Which books do they read? What movies do they watch? Like, think about skills and values. Let's shape this ideal picture teacher's portrait right now. So any ideas? You can also write in the chat for those of you who can't have their mics on. There's
for the teachers themselves, they, of course, it's the society they live in, right? The people who they interact on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, any like sport life that they maintain, any like other hobbies, activities they take part in. So they take part in. So besides our job, right? I hope that there is still some free time for us to enjoy life, to do something else, to learn some new skills, to get some new knowledge, because without this, everything becomes routine. And then really, for me, I'm not very happy, when I don't have time for my hobbies, for my friends, for some other interests, for some trips, at least from time to time.
So, the key point is that their life should be interesting, right?
No, it should be full. There should be a balance, right? So it's not only about work, yes, and like work and your life at home, in the flat or in the house, but outside, so because it's natural for human beings, especially for us teachers, to develop, to learn something new, that can fulfill us. And then eventually still it's like up to the person himself or herself to decide on the values, etc. Because yeah, we get impact from outside, you know, but how about our internal selves? Yes, so it's not only about external factors, in my opinion.
Definitely, yes. Okay, thank you. Anything else? Do you think that there are key points that we should definitely point out right now, which you think are very important to point out right now?
You know, being open-minded and again, eager to learn something new.
Okay, yes, yes.
In order to teach it.
Yes, right. This is the key. Okay, thank you very much, Ejan. Anything else?
We need to develop soft skills mainly.
Oh.
Yeah, because knowledge we can really Google, and I think this changed the focus very much, because you can find information in different places, but we need to develop soft skills, and sometimes our students are lack of such kind of things. So they prefer playing games and communicating, so their environment is mainly virtual. So and they fail to communicate face to face. So this could be the problem. They also a lack of attention. We discussed it on the previous session, yeah, that they even cannot read the task properly. So that's why we need to focus on that too. And teachers, before teaching them or before practicing, we need to develop it ourselves.
Good, good, good. Very good point. Thank you. What else? Anything else?
So if in 10 years, so if in 10 years, then digital literacy, yeah, without it, hardly possible to imagine the person of the future.
Agree. Thank you. What else? Okay.
Attending conferences is always interesting, because during conferences, during seminars, we learn something new from our colleagues, and then also my dear colleagues from the KIMEP and other universities, you really motivate me to try something new, you know, and to like continue enjoying my work, because sometimes I feel like, okay, okay, some people, some students do appreciate what we, you know, do appreciate what we do for them, but others, you know, it seems that they don't care. At some point, they can lose some internal motivation, no, to continue. But when I see my colleagues who try new things and who smile regard these difficulties and challenges, I also kind of revive. I re-energize myself.
Okay. Dinara, you pointed out one important thing. For us teachers, it's so difficult. Whenever we're having our personal problems and issues, still we smile in the classroom. We try to give this energy when we have some crazy things happening in our life. And I agree, this is also very important to be able to switch or to encourage someone who is next to you who needs this support and help. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's move on. Let me show you something. So I'll also share my list a bit later, but before this, let's have a look at this. Okay, so these are the skills and characteristics for students. And I like this table or this organizer. It's suggested by Applied Educational System. And what I like about it is it's pretty straightforward. And you understand that there are three things you have to focus on, like learning skills, literacy skills, and life skills. Why am I sharing this with you? Because we often speak about the portrait of students in the 21st century, skills that they need in the 21st century, but we don't talk about us teachers. Do we teachers possess this knowledge? Do we have the skills? Let's be honest, some teachers still have issues communicating with each other, expressing how they feel or whether they want to do this task or not. In terms of information literacy, there is a huge problem in the educational system in Kazakhstan. Teachers still don't understand what is credible source and what is non-credible source. When I say teachers, I mean teachers, whatever they are teaching in primary school and secondary or high school or university teachers, just in general. And for me personally, when I found this, I looked at this and then questioned myself, Bostan, look at this, identify your weak sides. And this is the objective for the next year or for this summer. So for you personally, you can also think, okay, what do I have to focus on? If we talk about critical thinking is a very broad term, and still there are a lot of things to focus on. So that's why think, brainstorm, Google, try to implement. So for me personally, this is also important to understand that me personally, I'm not good in Kazakh language. My Kazakh is approximately like good elementary. But I will never ever take my students to B2 level just because I don't have this Kazakh language. And that's why I think, okay, these are the things that I should focus on. So these are the skills and characteristics that teachers should possess as well, / students, okay? So now let's focus on teachers. So collaboration, I think this is key. Right now, Kazakhstan has a great potential, and right now teamwork and collaborating with strong experts would always lead to positive results. So if you understand that you need kind of team to work on certain project or research, definitely you find someone, you collaborate, negotiate, and distribute roles. Communication goes to the same way. Creativity, I think this is very obvious. Responsibility. What I see right now, I've been working as a head of linguistics for 3 years right now. And what I see that a lot of teachers, they can't take responsibility for what they're doing. What I mean is that they're here just to teach their subject and that's it. But they don't take responsibility in what is happening in the classroom. Like if the bullying is happening, I believe we should react. If they disrespectfully treating each other, I think that we should react. If they leave the room, which is very dirty, I think we as teachers should react and stop them, asking them to put everything into garbage. Critical thinking, yes, mentioned this. Global citizenship, this year I've attended TFL Conference and I was there as an attendee and as speaker. They talk about global citizenship right now a lot. And I've been talking about global citizenship for a year and a half, and I wouldn't go into details of what is this, but the key concept is that you're taking responsibility not only for yourself, but for what is happening around us as well. For example, once I had a case in my classroom when one of my students, we talked about different problems our school faces. And one of my students said, okay, we have bullying. Another student said, I don't want to talk about bullying because that's none of my business. If the person is a loser, that's his problem. That's not my problem. These are high school students. And I said, okay, fine. How many people agree? 3 people agreed out of 20. The rest, I said, like, what's your opinion? And then the rest said, we think that we should react. And in this particular case, we would bully the aggressor. I said, okay, wonderful. If you're not responsible for those 3, if you're not responsible for what is happening, if you don't react, the next day the person comes back, the student comes back to the school with the gun. So when you understand this cause and effect situations, you understand that somehow you could have prevented it. And of course, we discussed better options instead of just bullying the aggressor, like go to administration and things like this. But this made them change their mind. And then they designed a great project on how to stop bullying in school. There's 3 ladies, there's 3 girls, they reacted immediately saying, okay, now we see that we can take responsibility for this. Global citizenship, it's not when we're just thinking about some global issues and problems. It can be done locally. Which problems do we have in Kazakhstan and what can I do to make a difference, make a change? Digital literacy and information literacy, it was already pointed out, I agree with you. Flexibility and curiosity, like COVID, let's be honest, has already demonstrated us that being flexible is such an important thing. I'm sure that you know the great statistics where a lot of teachers resigned and or they were fired because they simply couldn't teach online. Curiosity, I'm sure that this is obvious then when you question everything and try to understand more. Right now, during this conference, I mean, in ITFL, I realized that they talk a lot about mindfulness. They talk a lot about self-awareness. when we understand what are our weak points, what do we like, what we don't like, whether we are more researchers or just language teachers, or maybe we're more language teacher trainers, or maybe we're more mentors. So understanding yourself, whether you really want to do this PhD or you're just being pushed by the society is very important as well. I mean, PhD is just an example. There are different examples I can give you as well. So self-awareness and growth mindset, these are key points that we should focus on to develop ourselves as an educator. Growth mindset is more about when you accept failures, when you embrace failures, when you understand that these things are very important, and when you understand, okay, I have issues in this, to move to the next stage, I have to strengthen this and this and this. That's when you are honest to yourself, saying, Bustan, you failed this, your PD wasn't good enough, think, reflect, and do your homework, okay? So like error correction. So that's why it's very important to realize as well. For teachers, it's so difficult to accept that still they could be wrong, that things went wrong and things like this. We have to be flexible definitely here and open. Okay, so let's think about teachers that we have right now. I mean, probably teachers that you work with. What's the difference? Which qualities do you think, or which skills do you think we should focus more right now? Focus on more right now? Like, you can pick 3 if you wish.
I would say flexibility,
Mm-hmm.
critical thinking, and self-awareness, probably.
Thank you, Tatyana. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, anything else?
I would add collaboration, because I think it's important to develop interpersonal skills, to be able to work with others.
Mm-hmm. Yes, agree. Okay. Anything else?
As for responsibility, I think it's also important for students to learn about it, so that they're responsible for their own actions, for their own, like, in class and out of class learning, so that responsibility is not transferred only upon the teacher.
Definitely, Donata, that's what we're talking about. I mean, that's not only about us, but me, if I am, as a teacher, irresponsible, of course, the attitude to students, I mean, vast majority would realize this, and the attitude would be a bit different, right? Yes, okay, good, thank you very much. Okay, so right now, the key point which I want to say here is, that's very important that we develop the skills that we don't possess. This will help us to shape strong education in Kazakhstan. I mean, I've traveled in Central Asia, and right now I understand that right now we have all opportunities, all possibilities to become the best one in at least Central Asia. And this is the time when we should transform. This is the time when we should be super flexible with the appearance of this AI and all this online gadgets and tools. Definitely we have to be more flexible. Okay, so the question right now, so we formed the picture of teacher's portrait. Right now, let's think about the potential for this teacher. So just a second. Oops. Yes, is there potential in being a teacher in Kazakhstan? As I've already pointed out, yes, definitely. Like, even if we talk about Astana right now, like, we have 8 schools opening this year, As far as I know, we have 3 or 4 universities opening, collaborating with US, Korean university, with some universities in US. We have one British. I've just attended the presentation of Cavendish University, as far as I remember. So there is definitely a great potential in being an educator. And the first thing is definitely just being a teacher, a lecturer at university or school. Then international and local competitions and events. There are a lot of competitions, international competitions for language teachers. Local events, the same, you can take part, not necessarily just you can also collaborate with your students. I'm sure you know this. Blogging is very popular right now. More and more, we have educators who are good at blogging. If you are interested, by the way, there is one point that I want to share right now. Sometimes we think that probably people don't know this, they already know this, there is no need to share this information. Believe me, still you will find people who is searching for this information, and probably your post, your story would benefit somehow, especially to young teachers. To more experienced, probably they already know this, but definitely it would be very helpful. For me personally, my Instagram is more about sharing information. For me, it's a bit still challenging to do this, but whenever I'm thinking about young teachers who are following me, I think, Bostan, they need this. It's not just because I want to show myself. It's more about I want to make a difference in this society. I see young generation who are coming to work in Quantum or any other school. They do need this help and support from experienced teachers like you are. Okay. Methodologist, yes, there is a certain position as methodologist, I'm sure you know. Writer, author, the same thing. Probably sometimes you think there is nothing to share, but believe me, when we've been working on my book, which I co-authored with Sujin from KIMEP University, I was 100% sure that people in Korea don't need this information. I was super surprised when Sujin texted me and emailed me saying, Bostan, they want you to write a book for Korean teachers. And I was like, what? Me? I mean, the teacher from Kazakhstan and teachers from Korea? How could this be helpful? And the surprising thing is that this book was about teaching online. And I was sure that teachers in Korea would definitely teach me, but not me sharing this information, you see? So life is very different and you never know where and what people need, but sharing this could definitely benefit. So this was such a surprise for me, and I definitely didn't expect that this book would be a best-selling book. I thought like this is something which is very crazy for me still. Okay. Or you can become presenter or speaker. This is also very important because the same reason people need this information, and sometimes we think, no, people don't, but they do. So please try to present as much as possible if you feel yourself that you can share this knowledge. Research, there is a huge gap between schools and universities right now. I've been working for KIMEP for almost 10 years, and when I moved to Astana and joined the team of Quantum, I realized that there is a huge gap. I've been teaching how to teach to master's degree students, but when I went to reality, I thought like, wow, Bostan, this is very different. So that's why we have to collaborate. School teachers and university teachers, they should collaborate and write more and more researchers about what is happening in primary school, what is happening in secondary and high school. A lot of field to study. So, and basically, if you go into this, I'm sure, like, I believe that in 1 or 2 or 3 years from now, we'll have more and more researchers appearing in the field. And what is important to remember that this researchers can always turn into something practical, like book or handbook, or probably you would write half the research, half some practical materials, ready to use worksheets. So you can do this as well. So, or you can work as an administrator, head of department, academic director, any managerial position. There are dozens of projects, educational projects that you can join. Right now, for example, I've joined KZLT team as a program director, and it's very interesting for me to work with this team because you have one group of people that you work with in quantum, and then all of a sudden you have another project which is also super interesting, and you meet a lot of people, collaborate, you brainstorm, and that's how actually the project Village for rural areas appeared. We found teachers in regions who don't know the basic information and things, and then we decided to design our courses for free just because we want to make a difference. Just find your own project, find what you want to do, and just do it. Running your own business. I'm a Salto trainer, and right now I have a lot of teachers who have their own schools. Someone is focusing on IELTS, someone is focusing on just general English, someone is focusing just on primary, a lot of opportunities still. All become an examiner, IELTS examiner, Cambridge examiner, TOEFL I know right now, ETS Global, they're in search of TOEFL examiners, and you can become one, or just becoming a mentor, taking responsibility for pre-service or inexperienced young teachers and just help them, just support them. I think that this is also key. I'm always thinking about one fact. Right now I'm 40, in approximately 20 something years, I'll resign. And we have to make sure that we have great teachers behind us following our path. The word teacher is very narrow. That's what I always say. I think every single speech, usually I start with this saying, the word teacher is very narrow. I like the word educator. It's broader, and you understand that you can do a lot of things. Right now, for example, in my school, every teacher has an opportunity to work with 100 students. 100 students, these are future parents. These are future citizens. And if we count like even the amount of students that you have added and then get the total, you understand that the number is huge. And at the moment we have what, only 16 people right here. So you see the impact is really great. And when you realize this, you understand that you can make a difference. So that's why it's very important to remember this as well. Okay. So anything to add? Probably there is something that you think we should add to this list. Maybe there is something that I forgot, which is possible. Maybe you're doing something that would be helpful to others. Okay. If you have any ideas, you can write them in the chat because your experience could benefit some people. Because I tried to brainstorm as much ideas as possible, but I'm sure that that's not the end of the list. I'm sure that we can add more and more points here. Dinara, do you want to add something? Okay. So that's basically
quite a comprehensive list. So I think you have mentioned most of the activities, occupations, yes, so that we can see. And yeah, I don't think I have anything to add. It's quite a lot. Good job was done.
Thank you very much. I'm really glad that this list was helpful. Okay, and one thing, by the way, that I want to point out here, talking about international and local competitions, when I joined the team of school teachers, I realized that school teachers are more focused on local competitions and events. And I said, okay, we're English teachers, we're foreign language teachers, we're blessed to teach foreign language, right? And there are a lot of international competitions. And I thought, okay, Bustan, find the list of top 3 competitions, international competitions, where you and your students could participate. And when we did, we found one. And this year and the previous year, our students took part in global rounds in England. This year, they will go to the USA. And previous year in October, we went to Rome, Italy with me. The competition was very interesting. Just a few words. There was part where they had to present persuasive speech based on book and movie. The topics are very interesting about, for example, gender inequality, gender discrimination, discrimination based on nationality. Very interesting topics. And the key point is that you have to present in front of all participants coming from Nigeria, Kyrgyzstan, Poland, and this is living the comfort zone. And I'm so proud of my students who did. And they took golden medal, bronze, and silver. Super proud of them. So that's also when you help your students to expand their borders and see and show and demonstrate the world is such a big place and there's so many things that they can do. Okay. So basically that's it. These are the main concepts and ideas that I wanted to focus on. If you have any questions, please ask questions. Okay. If not, let me say that today with you was Bostan Hayat, a main TESOL graduate from KIMEP University, Program Director of KINOTE Conference. By the way, you're welcome to join us on August. And thank you, Aktata. An experienced teacher, trainer, self-tutor, co-author of best-selling school book, the head of linguistic department, the author of 2 courses. Yes, engaged in different projects with British Council, speaker at ITFL, at French, and etc. Okay, I hope that this was very helpful and encouraging. My purpose was to encourage you and to think, what else can I do besides teaching? Okay, we're doing a really good thing.
Thank you, Bostan.
Thank you.
So you've mentioned about that some teachers have their own online courses. Yeah, it means that they're preparing IELTS or for they're teaching general English. So it means that you're preparing, yeah, teaching the teachers. Yeah.
Yes, I mean that's a bit different. I mean, I'm doing CELTA courses as self-tutor, but besides this, yes, I do have 2 courses that I'm working on. The first one is on developing 21st century skills in teachers. I mean, integrating this into curricula. And the second one is just basic one, which is just about teaching methodology. It turns out that this is also something that teachers need.
Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So your speech was so inspiring for us. So I hope our teachers have some insights for themselves that they will use. So our next speaker, thank you very much, Bostan, is Ayajan Jakupova. Ayajan, hi. So Ayajan will be discussing the important connection between digital literacy and English language education. So
good afternoon. Good afternoon to you participants. Thank you. Just 1 second, let me share. I hope everybody can hear me well and see my presentation.
Yeah, we can say it's okay.
Okay, so again, good afternoon to your participants. And my name is Ayajan Jakupova. I am a master student at Maqsad Narikbayev University, specializing in applied linguistics at School of Liberal Arts. And actually, it is a pleasure to be here today, since this is my very first experience presenting at the conference, and I've gained a lot today. So thank you very much for such information. I really, really appreciate this opportunity. So yes, my topic for today is digital literacy in English language education. And as we started with digital detox, so I'm going to proceed with this topic of using digital tools in English online English learning. So actually my presentation is based on a literature review conducted as part of my current research and the insights and conclusions drawn from this review will serve as the foundations for my further study, which I plan to undertake as part of my master's thesis. And yes, so my future research will delve deeper into this relationship in order to address the gaps identified and contribute to the field in a meaningful way. So I would start that the modern world has reached I would say a burgeoning age, digital age, where information communication through digital mediums dominate not almost but every facet of society, as well as education. And due to the increasing availability of digital education platforms and the widespread use of English, so the field of education has expanded to encompass online English language learning and teaching. And regardless of the possible advantages, questions have been raised about the difficulties and effectiveness of online learning, highlighting problems ranging from inadequate infrastructure to a lack of pedagogical readiness for such kind of virtual classrooms. And there's still much to learn about this relationship. So since now I'm thinking about expanding my review with all the information and insights that I gained from this conference. So I'm curious if the recording will be available to use it later. So, yes, and the body of literature, actually, it emphasizes the importance of digital literacy for effective online learning, as well as the ways in which technology and tools can improve traditional education. But again, there's still lack of research to examine the ways how teachers' digital competence affects students' language learning outcomes and experiences, and even acknowledging the importance of it. There's lack of study, that research on how it could affect language learning process itself. And the studies reviewed, they highlight information on students' preferences even for in-person instruction versus online learning, as well as the difficulties instructors or educators, as we say now, educators had when implementing these tools and platforms during the COVID-19 pandemic. So as the key speakers mentioned, the most of us were forced to use digital tools and platforms in 2020 due to this health crisis. And it points to the need for more research on the topic. And actually this topic holds significant implications for both academia and educational design. It contributes to a deeper understanding of the changing landscape of language education in this digital era, and also it's also relevant to teachers and policymakers and curriculum designers who want to improve language learning outcomes by incorporating digital literacy into the teaching methods. So it contributes to scholarly discourse, and also it inform evidence-based strategies for effective language instruction or education in a variety of contexts. Yes, and also as I said, that this talk was based on a literature review, it has it consists of such sections as definition of digital literacy, online English language education, the digital literacy in distance learning, and the intersection of these above mentioned two. So different authors, researchers, they offer various definitions of digital literacy concept, considering that new technologies and advances alter how people use this technology. So consequently, this concept of digital literacy is a multi-dimensional concept, entailing a complex integration of technical skills, cognitive skills, metacognitive processes, and as well as civic engagement and ethical awareness. And so considering the deep penetration of digital technologies in everyday life, it offers a set of transversal skills that could improve a whole area of activities, like from banking operation to civic participations. And for this reason, it was stated that digital literacy is an umbrella for a number of complex and integrated subdisciplines or literacies. And also more than 25 years ago, in 1997, the very first concept of digital literacy was introduced, and it was defined as the ability to understand and use information in multiple formats from a wide range of sources when it is presented via computers. But I think it can be too general today. So in 2022, the definition of it was, and digital literacy was referred to the multiplicity of literacies associated with the use of digital technologies, and was explained as the awareness, attitude, and ability of individuals to appropriately use technologies to identify, access, manage, analyze, evaluate, and synthesize digital resources, and to create, make, and share meaning, and collaborate and communicate effectively with others in different modes and formats. And as you can see, this definition of the concept has been expanded. And also the European Commission also defined digital literacy as the ability to use ICT and the internet for creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurship, and acquiring the skills and knowledge necessary to live in the 21st century, as you can see here. And this nuanced understanding of the concept is necessary as we navigate through the effective integration of technology and in language acquisition in distance learning of English. And yeah, so that's why it is necessary to understand the concept. And with the development of the concept as well, the field of education currently encompasses online English language learning, as previously mentioned, factors like increasing availability of platforms, the widespread use of English and expansion of the education. Everything led to the growing demand for qualified English teacher. But as it was mentioned earlier, English teachers already are stars who use digital tools and who are digitalized, I would say, enough. So, but the observations made by several researchers, they emphasize the relevance of digital literacy for effective online learning and the flexibility of distance education. And they support also the distance English learning and the use of digital tools. But in contrast, policymakers, universities, or even members of academia and students around the world, they also have been faced with a plethora of challenges. For example, limited infrastructure to preparedness of academia, or student motivation, collaboration, interaction, and engagement, as well as learning effectiveness in these, I would say, invisible classrooms. But similar to these concerns, majority of English teachers think that there are drawbacks to online instruction concerning technical issues like access to Wi-Fi, stable internet connection, and technology ownership, problem with classroom management, and again, teacher readiness. And also the analysis conducted the same year in 2022, the analysis indicates the preference for in-person English training or learning and teaching than online learning. So this dynamic relationship between technology, pedagogy, and human dimension continues to shape the direction of English language teaching and learning, as teachers encounter with difficulties with the demands of this digital age, digital era. And the research into digital literacy and distance learning is relatively recent, because research findings demonstrate that very few studies were published on the topic of digital literacy in 2001, approximately 3 or 4, up to 5, but almost 300 articles were published on this topic in 2020, as you can see here. And these results can seem logical and obvious, as digitalization as such is quite a recent concept that has really boomed over the last decade. For example, Professor Renee Hopes from the University of Rhode Island, who is also who is specializing in digital and media literacy, she actually defines digital literacy in education as the technical, cognitive, and social competencies, knowledge, and skills needed to communicate effectively and to participate in the contemporary knowledge economy. And also, it is a potential competence to realize teachers' professional development in e-learning communities confronting the global economy in computer technologies. And also, this increasing dependency on digital technology, which was also observed during the, again, COVID-19 pandemic, highlights the urgent need to improve both students and teacher digital literacy. For such, 3 trends were introduced that depict this need for digital learning process, which are digital economy, developing digital technologies, and digital generation. But on the other hand, this coronavirus pandemic, which influenced the adoption of distance education, prompted the study of this topic. So in addition, the teachers are facing serious challenges as their professional roles, their career satisfaction, and digital literacy in comparison to conventional face-to-face classroom approaches. And teachers also technology-related behaviors and their perception of their digital literacy or competence, they are significantly correlated. For example, extensive majority of English teachers or educators, they hold the view that technology indeed is crucial for improving student involvement and engagement, but others, they mention institutional infrastructure, students and teachers' technological proficiency as obstacle to integrate technology into language classrooms. And also, again, for this reason, some recommendations have been provided to use online tools for effective educational process. For example, web-based meeting platforms such as Microsoft Teams, Google Classroom, which were popular during the distant education during the pandemic, and also communicative platforms such as even WhatsApp, Telegram, other apps, and interactive platforms such as quizzes, Kahoot, others, collaborative platforms, Padlet, Flipgrid, even Google Docs, and as I've learned today, some AI tools, which are really, really helpful. So, so despite this essential role of teachers as a cornerstone of the learning process, it is of utmost importance for them to align with the evolving technology and also to enhance language learning outcomes in digital environments. More research into this intersection is obviously required. So that's all for me. So thank you for your attention. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
So participants, you're welcome to ask questions.
Hello, Ayjan. Thank you very much for your presentation. I was just wondering, in the title, you were saying their perceptions. They're the students' perceptions or the teachers' perceptions?
Yes, students' perceptions.
Okay, thank you. How are you going to further your research? What method are you going to take?
Oh, yes, there are some, not issues, I would say, but there are some obstacles. I'm now talking with my supervisor about the methodology part, because we have some, because she mentioned that it might be the very first research as such, because the methodology is a bit difficult to I don't know how to explain it. It's a bit difficult to identify to select for this kind of research. So we are working on it. We have some ideas, but again, it's not like fully. I don't know. It's not full yet. So yes, it's still in progress.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, no questions. So Ayjan, thank you very much. Your presentation was some informative and insightful for all of us. So our next presentation will be a collaborative effort by Mahabat Ramazanova, Aizat Jasluk, and Asim Berdemurat. So they will be reflecting on the use of sociocultural references such as memes in the English classroom. So girls, you are welcome.
Thank you very much. I will be sharing the screen if I can. Please let me know if there are some issues and if you can see it. It's all good? Okay, good. So pleased to meet you all here. My name is Marhabat Ramazanova. I'm also from Mosad Naribayev University, just like Aisha. And I'm presenting here today with Aysem Berdemurat. We are senior lecturers at Mosad Naribayev University with degrees in educational leadership and in TESOL. We are usually presenting this topic as we've done it together with Aizat Jasluk, but she's currently not available. So we'll be happy to present this for you to hear, for this audience. So the topic of today's presentation is Keep Calm and Use Memes, reflecting on the use of socio-cultural references in the foreign language classroom. So this is our agenda for today. We will be looking at what the meme is, the challenges and the benefits of using memes in the classroom. Then we will look at the methodology, findings and discussion, and then we'll draw to some conclusions. So as you may all know, we are now living in a visually rich world, and whereas we also are English teachers, and students often create meaning through using visual memes, through using visual images. Based on this tendency, visual literacy has become an essential skill, enabling the interpretation of multimodal texts that integrate reading text, visual images, and design elements. Using memes enhances visual literacy not only for the students, but for the lecturers as well. It's usually constructed, creating meaning through visual literacy is constructed through cultural negotiation, interaction with artifacts, images, and concepts. If I ask you to think about what a meme is, which of these three images do you think belongs to the meme? Is it the first one, the second, or the third one? Could you please turn on the mic and say what you think a meme is?
The first one, I think it
Definitely
is
the first.
popular.
Yeah. So it's actually interesting that there is a regular misconception that the meme is usually something that conveys the humorous concept, but it is not only this. A meme is actually a unit of cultural transmission, which may include not only the humorous concepts, but also ideas, tunes, catchphrases, clothes, fashion. It's a symbol, yes, that is spread in multiple forms through imitation and appropriation. It comes from the French word meme, which means same. It is a very interesting item. It can be a caption picture or video or a genre of items that is spread now widely using social media. So memes, it's not only a fun pictures, but it's something bigger than this. So what we were doing is we were asking ourselves these questions, and now I think we'll go on here.
Greetings, everyone. I hope you are hearing me well. So now let's move on to the next slide. It's about our research questions. The first one is our aim. The main aim of our research is to explore the reflections and also factors of memes choice of 3 language instructors at the higher educational institution. It's me and my colleagues. And there are 2 research questions which are leading this research. The first one is what are the benefits and challenges of using memes in the language classroom, EFL classroom? And the second one is what factors do we consider when selecting memes for teaching? And how do this reflect our beliefs and background? Let's move to the next slide. So let's delve into the key findings from various researches on this topic. The first one is about benefits of using memes. So some researchers highlighted that the advent of technology has enabled the teachers to use the memes in their classroom just to spice up their lectures. So this integration of humor and the popular culture in the classroom can help teachers to make their classroom and lessons more engaging. And also, other further researchers confirmed this, and there were some suggestions that how the incorporation of memes can enhance the motivation and the students' engagement in the classroom, because students where the memes were used in the classroom were more likely to participate actively in lessons. So other researchers indicated that memes incorporation in the classroom can enhance the vocabulary memorization, because students provided feedback where they confirmed that learning through memes were more efficient and more enjoyable compared to traditional setting, language setting. So finally, the last benefit of using memes in the classroom is the usage of memes can help teachers to create more positive teaching and learning environment. This was confirmed by the data results, which was conducted in Turkey, Gazi University, where the data results were mentioned, like it can grab students' attention, help to grab students' attention, it can make the students happy, it can help to set the mood to the classroom, and it can also promote the global consciousness. As before Bostan has mentioned, it's very important to promote the global consciousness, global citizenship. So now, while we were talking about the benefit, it comes also with some challenges. But before diving into this, I would like to mention about one phenomena, which is clip syncing. It's one of the challenges among Gen Z representatives who are our students right now. So this is essential, this phenomenon is essential considering modern students' learning lifestyle. So Gen Z representatives their focus and attention span tend to shift within 15 seconds, which is the length of the reels or video content they consume. So, and the researchers suggested that this can influence to the way how they think and perceive the world and the information. And the individuals who consume the video content, they can be more prone to visual and auditory thinking and less prone to logical and analytical thinking. I think this is one of the problems which teachers face nowadays in their classroom. So to keep the students' attention span. So, but what are the challenges while choosing memes or using memes in the classroom? First one is time constraint, because creating their own memes which can fit with their students' specific needs can be time consuming. The second one is appropriateness and inclusivity, because selecting the memes which is appropriate for everyone and which can represent diverse perspectives can also be a challenge and can also pose the time constraint. Me myself had the example, like when I had a non-binary student in my classroom, like I had to choose the memes which is appropriate for everyone, not to offend some representatives of some minor groups. So the last challenge is the lack of knowledge and lack of relevant memes. Like relying on the suggestions of the students, colleagues, or relatives can be limited by their knowledge or understanding of what is currently trendy. That's why these challenges, I have mentioned the challenge that teachers can face by selecting the memes in their classroom. So now my colleague Marhabat will continue about the findings.
Thank you very much, Asim. So what methodology did we employ when taking the study? Since the study is called Reflecting on the Use of Sociocultural References, we employed the method of reflexive vignette. It belongs to the qualitative study, may also be called arts-based ethnographic inquiry. So what we did is we reflected on what kind of memes we used in our teaching. We used our classroom slides and then interpreted and tried to reflect on those references individually. This method is very popular. It's been for a while used in psychological and sociological surveys, and it now makes its turn and makes its entry into the educational field as well. I really like this method because it makes researches reflectively comprehensible. And I guess being reflectively comprehensible is something that every education should also be equipped with. It also helped us to look at the lived experiences of using literally fictional, poetic, visual, performative, and co-constructed modes of narration. And while it was a collaborative research, we made the free reflexive teaching videos together, and it has allowed us to make the process of interpretation richer because we looked at our usage from different perspectives, and looking at different perspectives actually made the multiplicity of coexisting, sometimes competing, sometimes contradicting points of view come together to life. So we looked at them individually, and then you may see it here, the ways we analyzed our data, reflected individually, then we discussed the reflections. We employed the qualitative method of cross-coding the memes from our classroom slides, and then we discussed it and analyzed it again. And I would love to say that this is not like a one-end process. It was a reiterative process where we could come back to the first step and then reflect and then discuss again. And this allowed us to come to very interesting conclusions here. So this is what we've done. We have analyzed our findings, and we made the three overlapping Venn diagrams, where each of the category represents what memes we use and what's the meaning behind using these memes for us. As you may see, there is an overlapping category in the middle, which belongs to all three of us, like all three of us do this. There are also overlapping categories, for example, between me and the Sam, and then unique ones for each of us. And we would love to talk about that further, how using memes was reflected in our usage. So let me go to the next slide. So as you have seen in the middle, teaching grammar and vocabulary was something that was overlapping, and I think it's obvious because we all use some visual images, yes, to enhance their understanding of students' grammar and vocabulary acquisition. And we also try to train their pronunciation, some spelling mistakes by showcasing the typical, for example, confusing words, as you can see with the Spider-Man showing at each other, the punch jokes about the tenses, like the past and present walk into the bar, it was tense, and so on. So it was obvious that all of us use these memes to showcase how we can use grammar and vocabulary and visually enhance our slides. The next was, of course, to attract attention, because the primary purpose of any visual is to grab the attention of the students so that they could focus on what's going to be next. Is it like guessing some riddles? Yeah, we use this. Is it about the writing exercise like Rueckert, or is it some individual study time? Or shall we like go with the conversation and talk about that? So attracting attention was another overlapping category for three of us. The next overlapping category, please assume.
The next one is about pop culture reference. I think using memes with pop culture reference, it's not just about keeping up with trends. It's also about creating bridge between students' world and academic content. As you can see here, like we try to connect with our students, also keep up with the trends, and trying to find out trying to personalize our approach by their interests, by their background, as you can see here. It can help us also to promote student-teacher rapport.
Absolutely, thank you, ICM. So let's go to the next category. This is motivational and at the same time imperative. This is an overlapping category with me and Aizat, a person who is missing today. So it was interesting to find out that I'm using memes to motivate students, to make them like, yeah, you can do this. I'm encouraging them, let's do this, yeah, you've got this, and so on. Although I saw Aizat was using the memes almost with the same purpose, but she named it as an imperative, like you need to do this and there is no other variant but to start doing the exercises. So even if we use the memes for one with the single purpose, the way we think about this usage can also be different across the three of us, yeah, studying and working together closely. If I go now to the unique category, while we were reflecting on the use of the memes, there was at least one category that wasn't common for Asim or Azad, and it was common for me. And I was thinking, like, why would I use a lot of cultural references in my classroom slides? And I realized that it all goes back to my classroom, back to my childhood years. I was raised by a mother who's a philologist. She is teaching Kazakh literature, and she would always refer to Abai's philosophical sayings and quotations. And for me, this narrative of being a big fan of our culture was absorbed from the childhood. And I'm still trying to instill this. I would use the cultural references for my students. Even in the English classroom, I would put Abai's quotes, Al-Farabi's sayings, and we would have some lessons on Kazakh traditions from time to time. And I find it purely appropriate for the English classroom. And then another unique category that occurred in my data is that I set high expectations for my students. And I asked, why do I do that? And then again, it goes back to the childhood years, to my English teacher personally, because when I entered the school, it was a school for gifted children, Lyceum. And I didn't know English at all. And I was getting like F marks from time to time, and everybody knew English around me. So it actually put this high bar of expectations for myself. And I guess this is what I'm expecting from my students now. I'm thinking that they should work a bit higher, yeah, a bit harder to go and reach that level of high expectations. Although I think it was a little bit different with your findings, Asim, right?
Yeah, did you mention that you studied in a lyceum, right?
Yeah, for gifted children.
Yeah. Oh, I see. I think that is the reason why it's different from between you and me and Aizad. Like, this is overlapping theme for Aizad and me, my colleague who's missing today. We both studied in a rural area of the Kazakhstan, so in a village, to be specific. So I think that's the reason why it's different. We try to set low expectations for our students, but that doesn't have anything like negative connotations. It's just it helps us to try to normalize their mistakes, and I think it helps our students to avoid this pressure on them when their teachers set the high expectations. So I think this is the reason why it's different. You can see here some example of memes like me failing the English, that's impossible, or something like can we skip this question please because I'm not ready, or like hehe, not hehe because the task is difficult or your grade is not as you were expected. So now let's move to the next category.
Okay, yeah, in my classroom, we don't skip any questions. We do all the questions. Okay, here we go with the next slide.
This is overlapping category between me and Isaac. This is social media trends, like using something trendy now. I think the reason why we try to incorporate something from social media is we both belong to the generations that we are both generations that representatives, and we always try to follow up the trends. We try to select the memes by their popularity and the relatability to make the lesson more engaging, and try to connect with our students on the platforms that they are familiar with, on the platforms they use in their everyday life. So as you can see, cat memes, I think everyone loves cats. So this helps to grab their attention, to make the lesson more engaging, and just to set the mood for our lessons. So the next category is this is the unique themes by Isaac. Isaac tries to use some special audio elements, for example, from the game soundtracks, because she sings very well, like with someone, someone who is very with strong audio perception expression. She tries to use this kind of audio elements, and I think this is related to her personal background. And she tries to also use some ironic sounds and drum roll sounds, for example, to grab the attention or at the end of some tasks. So the next one, the next slide comes to.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add that also Azad is a very artistic personality. She sings very well, so I guess that's why this audio memes was a particular category for her and not overlapping with me or with Asim.
Yeah, that's right. So the next category, which is overlapping between me and Azad, is aesthetics, because for both of us, it's very important to have visually beautiful content, for example, in our presentations, matching color palettes, or having something aesthetic. This is related to our creative backgrounds and personality. And this helps us to create, for example, in our presentations, like some pleasing atmosphere, inviting and friendly atmosphere, using this in our presentations. So the next category, which is dark humor and satire, which we both we use in our lessons. Personally, me, why do I use the dark humor or satire? Of course, this is not in the first lesson. That's after we created some friendly atmosphere with our students. As someone who studied in Glasgow and lived with British family, it exposed me to the British sense of humor and satire, so which is always with the touch of dark humor. That's why I really love this style, like some funny jokes, some irony, some satire. That's why I try to sometimes have fun or tease my students. And also when the lesson flow is for example, in academic writing lessons, when it's very boring and they are very bored, just to make the lessons more engaging, we try to use this kind of memes. As you can see here, introduction, the first few paragraphs, and last few paragraphs and conclusion. It's like a feedback after the essay that they have completed, or some memes like "this is fine," it's during the deadlines when they have to submit lots of assignments. It doesn't only make the lesson engaging, it also promotes the student-teacher rapport. It helps us to keep up or to connect with our students. So the next category is the unique themes. My unique themes, it's adapting memes. So my journey with using memes started, I think it's deeply personal and it's rooted in my educational experiences, because I studied in a rural area with some textbooks such as Arachin, Ayapova, Galitsinsky. If there are teachers who studied with these books, I think you can relate to this. And these textbooks were so boring, and despite my love for English, I really wished for something more engaging, for textbooks with some vibrant pictures, with authentic resources. But for village schools, these resources were scarce. So, and I think this early experience has influenced in my teaching philosophy, because now I do believe in the power of visual aids in classroom, in our lessons. So that's why I started using memes in my classroom. So, but why do I adapt memes instead of using existing memes? Because I'm perfectionist and I love creativity. I enjoy like tailoring the memes to fit my students' specific needs. I try to find something which more engaging for my students. And as an avid social media user, I follow all the trends and try to adapt the trends to fit my students' needs and my students' backgrounds. So this is the reason why I started using memes, and why adapting memes is more important for me than for other my colleagues. Thank you so much. Now, Marhabat will continue with discussion part.
Thank you, Asim, for unpacking the findings for us. So what it comes to an end, and here we wanted to showcase the inferences that we made based on our reflections. So we found out that the first thing that really matters is our personality. It's our background. And by background, we mean that it's our education, our family dynamics, the place of birth, our personal interests. This all defines the choices of the visual aids in the classroom. The second major theme that occurred is that it just showcased once again that what we do is another example of student-centered approach, because by employing the memes in the classroom slides, we're trying to put the center in the first place to bridge the gap, as Asim has mentioned, and to show that we are also interested in the same things as you do. And it's not that it happens involuntarily, it's voluntarily and it's intentionally voluntarily. We take into account the student needs, their background as well, age, level, gender, and so on. Talking about gender and other sensitive issues, none of us use any memes that are related to politics or religion. So it means that we are avoiding these topics. And I think this because for three of us, this is something that we wouldn't talk on a daily basis, and this is not reflected in our classroom as well. As for the challenges that we encountered while doing this study and thinking about the use of visual aids in the classroom, first of all, it's time constraints, especially if it's adapting memes, like in Asim's case, and the lack of knowledge about trends. And then you have to rely on somebody's knowledge and say, hey, is this trendy or not? Can I use it with my students? It's especially true for me because honestly, I haven't been using memes before I started working closely with Asim and Aizat. I'm 32. I actually turned 32 yesterday, and I really didn't use any memes. So I started only using them after I saw, okay, your slides are so beautiful. I want to do the same. And then it took me a lot of time to incorporate suitable memes that are appropriate for this topic, for this audience as well. So time constraints definitely take a lot of place when constructing a beautiful classroom presentation. As for the benefits, Asim has already mentioned that there are certain benefits highlighted in the literature, and we have also found the links with it that yes, it grabs the attention, it helps us to teach grammar and vocabulary in an easier or more engaging way. It motivates students and teachers as well, because we like looking at beautiful slides, right? And giving clearer comments. This also makes the designs of the slides more aesthetically enjoying, okay? And it's not only good for the students since they're viewing this with their eyes, but also for us because we're enjoying ourselves here. It sets the mood of the class, making it either serious, more humorous, or sets the work mode for them. It promotes cultural awareness by showing the traditions, yeah, like in case with cultural references or some British related pun jokes and so on. It definitely increases engagement. We reflected on the use of the memes and we subjectively believe that yes, it definitely increased the engagement of the students since they look at the slide and they're captured by these visual images. And finally, it shows that, yeah, we are not old-fashioned. We are together with you and we are here and we're teaching and learning. So this is like the mutual exchange of ideas and the power of memes and the visual aids in the classroom is undeniable. So we have come to the end of the conclusion. And what we can say is go back to the first slide. Yeah, if you remember the topic of our presentation was keep calm and use memes. So this is what in a nutshell can summarize our presentation. Here are our contacts. Please feel free to ask any questions, to email us. We would be happy to talk about that more.
So participants,
Thank you
you're
so
welcome.
much.
Hello. Yeah, I have questions. Thank you, dear ladies. It was interesting and fun. And now, yes, I am encouraged. I'm motivated to find some funny, memes. And yeah, somehow I need to find those which are somehow related to the topics, right? To connect them. But yes, I think, it will definitely attract my students' attention and I will enjoy teaching even more, it myself, if there is some element of, how can I say, if there is like some fun element in the classroom, yes, some joke, yeah, I think, the teacher herself or himself will also, start smiling, not only the students. But how much time does it take you to find useful and relevant memes? Because I guess you need to check different ones, yes, before you select the one that you like a lot and which is appropriate. So does it take a lot of time?
Okay, shall I, Asim? Okay, so yeah,
go ahead.
Thank you. So as we have already mentioned, time constraints is one of the challenges that you need to find a suitable meme. But if you are an avid social media user, or if you're a fan of some cultural items or a song or a movie, I think it will not take you a lot of time, maximum maybe 10 minutes to pick a suitable picture for the slide. But it actually all depends on your personal interests and what you want to show, what's the purpose of using the meme in your slide. But we are very happy that this presentation encouraged you to use memes in your classroom because it definitely does promote a lot of benefits, not only for the teachers, but for the educators as well.
Yeah, may I add? Actually, it was a hidden idea or a hidden goal, not only to engage students, but also make the lessons more engaging for ourselves as educators. I think that's important. So your lessons are interesting so that you will not get bored as a teacher and you will enjoy your lessons.
Yes, thank you. So does it mean that if, for example, I do not check my social media every day, then can I go to just Google and type, I don't know, some topic, let's say like, students or something, and then type the word meme. And then I hope, Google will find some suggestions for me, and then do I just save this meme and then I incorporate it into my slide, or maybe I can just show it from the website? Can you tell me about this, how to do it practically? Thank you.
Yeah, actually, you can just Google, like, for example, funny GIF or GIF, which one is more convenient for you to use. For the topic, for example, like vocabulary, like funny vocabulary, meme or GIF. You can just Google it and download which one you like.
Okay, so Mahabat, Asim, and your colleague Aizat, thank you for interesting and thought-provoking presentation. So now we know that memes can be a good tool for grabbing the attention of students. Yeah, so thank you very much. So our final presentation of the day will be by Dinara Karimova. Dinara was one of the active participants from the beginning of our conference. So you are welcome, please.
Thank you, and thank you, dear colleagues, for staying, like, for being here to listen to me. And I hope that the information which I will present to you will be also useful for you. Okay. Now let me share the screen. So first, I will go through the slides to introduce two gamified platforms, and then I will go to the websites so that you can actually see how they work in real life. Okay. Now I think you should be able to see my slides, right? Yeah. So I work at KIMEP, and also I'm a PhD student at the University of Eastern Finland. And so today I would like to talk about Shymkent and Joyteka. I don't know if you have heard of these platforms, but I learned about them only this year, and I'm glad to share the results of my own investigation with you. Okay, so why can we use them? In order to enhance engagement in the classroom, because these games add more joy, and also they are competitive, and my students really enjoy doing the tasks in these platforms. Okay, so yeah, then like mostly I played these games in the classroom, but it's possible to assign some of the games as home tasks, especially if you use a Shymkent. Then, yeah, students were motivated to review some new vocabulary, or maybe to review some grammar aspects. We don't really focus so much on grammar, but when I check their essays or paragraphs, sometimes I notice some writing aspects related to grammar, and then I can also use a Shymkent or Joyteka in order to like encourage them to review those points, and also just to have fun, because they also want to relax. Because in my foundation English class, we meet every day, and they have to wake up early, and I noticed that later on, like in the semester, they become tired and they don't get enough sleep, etc. So using memes, using games is really important, I think, not only for the students but also for us, yeah, to keep us like going. Okay, and then students really like when you present not only some academic materials, you focus on the study skills, but also when you add some interactive gamified activities into the classroom. Okay, so you go to Shymkent, and if you want, you can take your mobile phones as well, and you can just go to this website right now as I speak. And you just use your Google account, or you enter your email, you quickly sign up. And then, you will see an option like create a new kit. Okay, and then you give a name to your kit, you select the language. Usually, of course, I select English, but there are some other languages available. And then you can also select the subject for which you want to present your kit. Then the site asks you or suggests that you select a cover for your kit. So you can use one of the suggested options, or you can upload it from a website. Now let me continue. Then what can you do there? You can add your own multiple choice questions, and you can see that I have added one. yes, then it's possible to create flashcards. You can also add questions from the question bank. You can import them from the spreadsheet document if you have one. I don't really use, spreadsheets, yes, for this purpose, but it's also a nice feature if someone is interested. If, for example, if you teach math, okay, and you have some formulas, and if you want to include some math-related items, maybe then it's better just to use a spreadsheet, okay? And then there is another option which is called Collaborate with a Kit Collab, and it's something that I appreciate having. Let me tell you more about it. So here you see, even your students can contribute to creating kits. So they can add questions, and it's also very interesting and very useful, I think, for the teacher to be able to engage your students in the creation of some kit. And yeah, you can also divide students into groups, and then they can create their own kits and compete with each other, or like play their own kits for each other. Then once you open your own Shymkent page, then you will see some games. You see, I haven't created very many games yet because I use them only from time to time. And in the middle, you see the name, The Murder, new vocabulary. So we did read one short story written by Ray Bradbury, which is called The Murder. And then I decided to ask the students to review some new vocabulary from that story by using a game. Okay. And yeah, as for the other options, you can see that it's possible to create some special assignments, but this feature is unfortunately not free. And yeah, I'm using just the basic option, which is free. But then it's possible to create classes. What else? Yeah, and then you get rewards, but I am mainly interested in creating new kits for my students, which I play maybe like once for them, and then we just move on. So what kind of games can you play for free? So here you see like some of them, like several of them. I have used Snowball and Don't Look Down. I have also checked upon Fishtopia, but for me it was not a very interesting one. It was a bit slow for me, so I didn't offer it to my students. And I haven't actually used the other options. So if you become interested in exploring a Shymkent, perhaps, yeah, you can tell us more about the other options later, okay? But today I'm planning to introduce Snowball and Don't Look Down games to you. Okay, so then once you're there, you select the game that you want to use. You click on Continue. And then you see this window. So when you first register at this website, you can actually invite quite many students. Okay, your options are not limited only to 5 players, but after 2 weeks of using this site for free, then you get a notification that only 5 players can join the game. And then in this case, if you have a small class, it will work, but then you can also ask students to work in pairs and to share one phone, and then they can do it together in pairs or in small groups of 3. So this is one limitation which I don't like, but it's there. And then once you are in the game, then you see my name, Dinara Karimova, and then I also use my mobile phone in order to like add another player. And then here you will see like other guys, your students will join the game, and then they will start like catching each other in order to kind of like to throw snowballs at each other. Okay, let me continue. So for example, this is me, yes, and this is my like gun with the snowball. And initially the program gives you like 16 balls, and you just go, you walk, you use the arrows in your computer, or you use your phone in order to move your player, like up and down and then to the sides. Okay, and then once you run out of snowballs, then you will notice the link answer questions. So this is where the learning part comes actually, because here what you see in the middle is mainly about fun, yes, the fun time. And let me show you what kind of questions you can get. So then once if students want to get new balls, okay, more balls to continue playing the games, they have to answer questions. And here you can focus on vocabulary, on grammar, on some concepts, on some writing aspects, okay. So, for example, I decided to type to detach, the word to detach in order to check if they have learned this word, or if at least they have translated the word in the text, okay, in the story. And then they select an option, and if it is the correct one, they get extra balls. If it is not correct, they have to do it again, okay. Then another game which I enjoyed playing myself, and actually which my students liked, is Don't Look Down. Okay, I think like maybe in the past some of you played Tetris, right? This game. It's quite similar to that game. So again, once you select the game option, you get, you see the settings, and here you can decide upon the duration for the game. It can be 10 minutes or like 7 minutes. So if you don't want it to be very long, you can just set up for 5 minutes, okay? And then you see here it's called like energy per question. So each student has a limited amount of energy, which is given by the system at the very beginning. And then they run, as they like play the game, they run forward, they jump, they lose energy. And then they need to answer questions in order to regain energy, okay? So let me show you how it looks like. Do you recognize it? Like, I don't know, in childhood, like, did you see something like this, like similar games? Yeah, yeah. So this is my player. I'm like, I'm, like alone in here. But once the students join, then, there are like many players here, and then they start just running and jumping. And yeah, you can see the instructions in here. You need to answer questions in order to earn energy. Okay. And then you can run and jump. And yeah, this is how it will look like. Okay, so this is another game. And then at the end of the game, you can see the leaderboard, and you can see only my name in here because, yeah, I did not take photos when my students were playing, but you can imagine that there will be different student names and the scores, okay? The second platform which I want to introduce to you is called the Joyteca. So you can see the home page of this site, and you can, if you have your mobile phones near you, you can also go there just to explore it by yourself. Okay, so it's free to use it. You sign in. You can use Google, or you can just create. You can use your own personal, let's say, email to join the system. And then you see this greeting, we are happy to see you. And here, like at the bottom, you see that I have several several games. I focused on the quest because it was something like new for me. I like the idea of having like students there in some particular room, and they're trying to check where my questions are hidden, and then where my tasks are hidden, and then they try to find out like how they can escape the room. They need to solve some certain tasks or answer some questions in order to escape the locked room. But so the first game which I was talking to you about is called the web quest. So I was just like talking about it, that they need to escape a room. But there are also other possible games or activities available for you, and you can explore them on your own. For example, web service video, intellectual game quiz, and then let me show you some other ones. So, and then there is the game for terminology if you want them to focus on some terms. Knowledge control tool test, so you can create some tests in here. And yeah, this is another feature available, peering system. But let me focus on the quests because I like them a lot. So so first you can just select which quest room you want your students to be in, and you see that there are like 51 available designs. Yeah, so it will be quite interesting for you and for your students as well. And then you enter the title for the lesson for that particular quest. You add questions. Of course, you indicate the correct answer. Here, if you want, you can also watch a video about the creation of quests. And then you set up some special features. So for example, the system can shuffle questions and answers. You can show the description before the game, and actually I recommend it to you, because quite often this is something new for the students. And if you don't explain it to them, like, if you don't tell them how they should play the game, then they can be lost a little bit at the very beginning. Yeah, this is also a very good option. Open the doors only with all correctly solved tasks. So they do need to explore the room really well in order to find all of the tasks and in order to answer all of your questions. And then they can just click on the door to escape the room. And so once you create the quest, then you can share it with your students by using the direct link or by using the QR code. So this is how like one of the rooms looks like. And right now I cannot click on the drawers or on the books, but once I go to the website, then you will see how it works in real life. Okay? But as for the lower locker or drawer, you see I have already opened it, and there was like one item inside, and also there was a task inside, and I had to yes, do the task in order to continue. So when my students submitted their paragraphs, I noticed that some of them misspelled the word nowadays, and I decided to add this as a little task because this word is used quite often, and I want them to like use it properly. Okay. Yeah, so that's the end. Let me just say a few concluding comments before I show these games to you in real life. Yeah. So I do recommend to use Shymkent and Joyteka to you because they are fun. They attract students' attention, and also you enjoy your own classes more. Yes, I do recommend you also to check the other game options, which I have not really presented to you because there are so many of them. Yeah, and it will be your own learning. So good luck with this. And now let me just stop this presentation and let me go to the website so that you can actually see how it works at the website. And you're welcome actually to join some of these activities. So this is, yeah, I'm here at the website, and then I click on play live. And then, for example, I select, let me first select Snowball, this one, and then I click continue. Yeah, and then you see that there are only like limited options. Okay. Then continue. Okay, let me agree with this. I have not done anything there, but I just want you to see how you can play. And you will see the code at the top. You're welcome actually to use your phones to try to join the game. Yes, so this is the code. Yeah, and I will try to join the game right now by myself. Oh, actually, yeah, join as a player. Mm-hmm. So if you're interested, you're welcome to join the game. You see, like I'm moving, I'm using the arrows on the keyboard in order to move. But it seems that we need at least like one more player so that we can start the game. Oh, marhaban, thank you very much. So waiting for players and okay, one player. Okay. Yeah, okay, now you can see that I can start the game. Yes. Now try to use your phone in order to, yeah, in order to play. So, I see you're there. Yeah, where is me? Yeah, and then you need to click on the snowballs. Yes, okay, Sania, you have found it. Yeah, very good. And then you go and find the other players and you throw snowballs at them. Okay, and once you run out of snowballs, then you need to answer the questions in order to refill the guns. Where is me? I need to find myself. So it takes some time to get used to it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm running around, so I can't find other players.
Yeah, you cannot find the other players. Well, we did it in the classroom. Okay, Sania is there. But yeah, so I see you. Where is your gun? Yes. So I can add this. Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. Okay. So the idea is that you are there, not only just, oh yes, I see that you started, Marhabat, you are attacking the other party. Oh, I see, I'm sorry, you are not there anymore because you were kind of killed, yes. So, and you see now there are no snowballs there, so you need to answer the questions. There should be an option if you check your phone. That you click there, like answer questions in the bottom, okay, in the left lower like corner, not bottom, but yeah, in the corner. And then you answer questions and you get more balls and you play like this, okay? And then the time will be over, yes, in 5 minutes, but let me stop the game right now, okay?
Marhabat, I'm already dead. Stop attacking me.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, and then you can show the leaderboard to your students. Okay, so this is like one of the games, and now let me show you another game. Let's see how the other one will work for you. The other one is not about like killing each other, finding and kind of attacking each other. This, students like Snow Brawl, but some people would think that it's a bit it's not an aggressive game, but it's a fun one. But yeah, you need to kind of attack others. Okay, in this game, don't look down. You don't need to attack anyone. You just like try to be the fastest person. You just run and you jump over different obstacles. Okay, and then here you also, yeah, I'm like waiting for the players. So you're welcome to join. Yeah, this is me jumping. Yeah, so and once I see some other players in the game, then I can start. Okay, Sanya, you're there. Let's wait a little bit for Marhabat, maybe in the same, if you can join. Yeah. Hello, guys. Hello. Yeah. So maybe I will start. Yes. So let me start the game. Yeah. And I'm not playing any music right now. But it's possible also to play the music while playing this game. Yeah. Okay, very good. Yes, and yeah, you're the fastest one. And then once you run out of energy, you need to find an option like answer questions or like gain energy. It should be somewhere in the corner. I do not see it on my screen, but you should be able to see it in your phone. And then you click there, you answer questions, and you get more energy to continue. And then once the game is over, you again see the leaderboard. Yes, and yeah, good job. Okay, so let me end it for now. Yeah, yes, you see, I have muted the site, but yeah, if I unmute it, then there should be some music there as well. Okay, but now let me move on to Joyteka. Yeah, so I have just a few questions here because I use them only from time to time. So I will show you this one. Okay, so this is the room. And by the way, if you want, you can join. No, I think okay, yeah. You need to go to edit and then next. I'm not going to edit anything in here, but I want to, yeah, now you can see the QR code and you can see the link to the site, and you can try to scan this QR code. Let's see if you can join us. Let me make it larger. And then I usually show it in the classroom and the students just scan their code and then they join. Okay, and then you will be in this room. And now you see I can use the keyboard and I can click on different items and then I see different tasks. Okay, so for example, yeah, I select this one, and this site is in 2 languages, Russian and English. I selected the English language in order to show it to you, but when you first open Joyteka, it's in Russian. But then you can change the language. Okay, the mat can be moved. Yeah, and then there are some hints for the students, so it means that they need to move the mat, and then they can check what's there. Yeah, and then they just click on different items in order to see what kind of tasks are there. But sometimes there are no tasks behind the books or some other items. Okay? And if I click on the door, then I see the message that the door is still locked. So it means that I need to find like the other tasks. Okay, so it means that I should still like explore the room to see where else I have some tasks. Okay, now for example, this is another one in English. The word полезный is so I noticed that some students misspell the word useful, and I just decided to add it into this quest. Okay, so let me select, for example, useful, and then click on ready, and then I continue. Okay, so this is the idea. And then once you find all of the hidden items, then you can escape the locked room. You open the door and then you leave, and then the game is over. Okay, so let me stop sharing this. I hope it was interesting for you, and you will try to use either Joyteka or Shymkent in your classrooms. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nara, for this interesting and engaging presentation. It was so much fun to play a game at the end of our conference. So as we come to the end of this conference, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to all our speakers, presenters, and of course to our participants. I hope that today's insights, ideas, and information that our presenters present us were very informative and useful for you. So I hope to see you again in our next conference. By the way, please, if you forgot, please follow the link in our chat box and fill the form to get your certificate of this conference. Thank you again. Good luck and goodbye.
Thank you.